All right, hello. Good morning, everyone. Good to see ya. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Focusing on 3D and animation because I've been getting like a lot of questions about this. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for saying that. All right, that might happen. Yeah, because I'm showing it started about, a minute ago. A little bit of buffering, hopefully it'll clear up. Good morning, Bliss. And everyone, cool. Scrolling through the comments, saying hello. You know, we're afternoon post slump. Yeah, so it's already Friday afternoon. I'm so jealous. That's cool. All right. Thank you. I'm gonna dive in. Enough of this. Don't want to waste time. So just kind of focus on this phrase like visionary, right? And we're going to create some animation and stuff around it. I think it's interesting because I actually did Google visionary. Visionary. There we go. Let's try this. And I just do this, just kind of like see what comes up. This might be good, might be bad. But either way, I'm just kind of seeing what the world thinks of visionary. It's a lot of cliches, to be honest with you. Is it possible to create a document preset in Photoshop which have multiple artboards? Not that I'm aware of, but that would be a good idea. So yeah, a preset that has multiple artboards. Now, I'll tell you what you can do. Let me just answer that question. Here's my visionary eye. Yeah, of course, we could play with an eye all day long. It's just kind of fun. You can have a file that has multiple artboards in Photoshop. And I'm realizing, like, I have not created an artboard in ages. There we go. Okay, so we'll add another artboard. There's one artboard. Hold on. Let's add a second artboard. Layer, new artboard. Did you see what I did up here? Right here, I just typed in art. So it brings me and shows me, if I do this, new artboard. It actually shows me where that is. So this works for all the apps, right? So again, I had never created artboards. I find them a little bit, like, I would rather have it hide all the other layers. I don't know. It's not bad. I'm into it. It's fine. And then you save this file real fast. Let me just show you. This might be another way to do it. Save it to the desktop. Call it PSDT. If you call it PSDT, and we'll just call this artboards. So this might be my artboard template file. You could take any file, any Photoshop file, and just add the end, and I'll show you what it does. So we'll save it to the desktop. Right, there it is. We'll close that. We'll go to our desktop. It's here somewhere. Buried behind After Effects, which we'll get into. We'll get into that. We'll get into all these fun things. Ooh. So anyways, so make sure it says PSDT, right? That's what we want it to be. Now when I double click on it to open it, it opens it as an untitled file. So it opens it up actually as a new file. So it's never gonna overwrite your original. So that just, again, just a pro tip for you, just so you know. So hopefully that helps. Yes, clean desktop. It's because I'm presenting today. That's why it's clean. I try to keep it as clean as possible. Notice I throw everything in current projects, this current projects folder, which is just a bunch of stuff that I might even use today because I was really interested in this like Apollo image, right? There we have, you know, talking about visionaries sort of from the past, you know, and yeah, I'm just thinking about that word visionary and how we'd approach it, you know? So having an astronaut, right? Maybe this is sort of a visionary type look. And again, you get the idea. No skulls today. So we'll start here in Illustrator, right? We have the word visionary, right? Just duplicated it on down. We can kind of go through and start to work on some different type treatments. That will also make 3D, and then we can also animate, right? Kind of rolling through these. I want it to be an all caps version that is typically pretty bold. So we'll go to bold. View those bold properties, and also a sans serif. So like this font, this Anisette is actually a pretty cool font, which, again, I just want something big and bold. Since we're going to be making it 3D and animating it, we want something just like really crisp. Okay. You create a folder on your desktop called Rug, and you sweep all the mess under the rug. Jokes. That is my junk drawer. Everybody has a miscellaneous. Do you have a miscellaneous? The two places that get messed up the most is, of course, here in my current projects, and then my downloads folder gets a little crazy as well. So those are usually the two typical areas that I need to clean up. You know, speaking of visionaries, we also have, you know, Leonardo da Vinci, right? I'm drawing a blank on the name of this. But this is a cool, like, iconic image that we can think of when we talk about and when we think about the word visionary. So let's just open that up as well. What is it called? Vitruvian Man. This is the Vitruvian Man. That's right. So we got visionary. We'll just kind of go in here. And again, don't mind me, just picking out a couple of different types that we could just play with. And we're just getting warmed up for the day. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're thank you, Sam, Vitruvian Man. Yes. I know this because of Angels and Airwaves. That's the cover of their latest Light Forms album, is a take on Vitruvian Man, but it's a woman, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to get to see them in concert in a couple weeks. And yes, nobody's heard of them or nobody's interested in Angels and Airwaves these days. Except for me. Okay. Cheers. That's right. Drinking pumpkin spice, the most cliched flavor of the season. You guessed it. Okay. All right, cool. I'm going to do I might do all caps. I think we will have one. These are all kind of looking the same. That's actually kind of a nice, but I think we should have one that actually is a sort of more of a cursive, right? Kind of like that. There we go. Beloved script. Pumpkin spice is good. I like, by the way, Cody Bear, I like all flavors of pumpkin. All those fall spices I want year round. So I'm totally into it. Okay, so as you probably know, like we could get pretty cliched with this, right? As we can see, I do like some of these fonts. As we can see, we could roll over these. We get these alternate glyphs, right? That I could drop in there, and I can find some different curls for the in. I can get more dramatic or less dramatic, and this goes for a number of these right in here. So we take this eye if I wanted that to curve out or in. I think it actually works just fine like that. But let's take a look at this V to see if we get some more interesting curves there, right? Kind of like that part as well, okay? So again, you have that. You could also open up your glyphs because, did you know for a lot of these, let's go into glyphs. Look at all of these glyphs for just the A alone. So that's why Beloved script is awesome. And again, some have different accents on top, right? Maybe somebody can tell me the name of these little accents. I call them accents, but I don't think that's the correct term, and I feel bad that I don't know. But these are all the different A's, because they have to do it not only for the standard A, but the ones with the different accents, if you will. And sometimes if you scroll down, I talked about this like last week, there's going to be a lot of additional characters. But again, if I go in here and I select this Y, it highlights it here, right? So if I want to see it here, and by the way, I can say, let's see it larger off to the side. And right now it's showing me the whole font. It will highlight it right here. And I can actually just change this as well. Ooh. Alternates for current selections. So there we go. Those are all the Ys available. So anyways, now you know. Right? We know how to kind of select a font, get the correct one, and start to work on different layouts, right? So that's what I'll do even right here. Take this, we'll copy it, we'll paste it, do 3 different versions. We'll make this really fast as possible. Hurry up, Paul. You demand to be entertained, right? Maybe we'll move that one off. Go in here and get this party started with our properties panel. You must be entertained. Okay, is there an Adobe font? There's thousands of them, but there is Adobe. There's an Adobe Clean. Adobe Clean is Adobe's like official font, so that's what we use for all like internal things. And has a bunch of different styles. So yeah, that's a good call. I really like Poppins. Man, that's nice. Oh, it's so clean. This one's getting a little fat. It is a, yeah, obviously a variable type font. And they're pretty, these two fonts are pretty darn similar. I like getting this perfect O, that perfect circle for the O. It's kind of what I'm going for. In fact, I think I'm just going to use this text right here. I really like this one. This is typically which artboards will look like. They'll look like your downloads folder, right? We'll have a bunch of different versions. In fact, let's throw some color in here. Why not? And let's start to separate this out. Okay, there we go. And just do some quick 3D. We're going to make this really fast. Ooh, Beloved Scripts has ornaments too. Thank you so much for saying that, Carol. Yes. Oh, good call. Kind of forgot all about that. Yes, there's ornaments in there as well. So different little additions you can add to your text. So let's take this. Maybe we'll play with color. We'll probably work Viz an area. Okay, cool. Hey, Cody Bear, we're on the same page. Yeah, VIS-ION. We're on the same page. Were you? I don't know if the comment came before or after, but let's take this and just throw some 3D on it. This is currently how it works. Extrude and bevel. We have our text, and this is why I wanted it to be nice and clean, right? Let's take this up to, say, 300, right? We'll do off-axis. I'm just checking out a couple of these. Ooh. All right, so we're just gonna have some fun if you guys don't mind. Is that okay? Because I think design is fun, right? And I think you create your best work while you're having fun and you're nice and loose, and you're willing to make mistakes too, right? So we don't want to be afraid of making mistakes. We want to go into more options. We want to cast some light on the front of that text like so. Okay, perfect. We have plastic shading, we have diffuse shading, we can go with no shading as well. All that math is still there. All those Bezier lines and vectors and all that stuff, they're all still there, right? But again, I could even simplify this because I personally think this looks very cheesy. Anytime you have a number of grays, like the shading color is black for one. Not a huge fan of that. I can change that to custom, right? We'll click in here, and instead of black, we'll go with like a blue. So we'll get a blue cast on it, click OK, and that looks like much better. Again, I don't like that number of steps. Let's take that from 25 down to 5. That's gonna flatten it out some more. I could go down to like 3 if we want, right? So don't give me a lot of blend steps. Let's remember that blue, okay? So we have that. Take this, let's see if we use the eyedropper tool, because I want to do the same thing, and I'm going to see if this works. Yes, it does, baby. All right, so here we go. Once you decide, excuse me, once you decide on the 3D, can it be applied to the layer artboards? The new elements get the same 3D. Yes, you can save this. I mean, you can apply it to another layer easily. And what I would do is I would turn that into a graphic style. So right down here, we can go ahead and add this as a graphic style. So that's right there. So that's what we've done. But what I want to do is I want to steal this style for ION. So what do? And that's what I was checking. Double check. If you double click on your eyedropper, just make sure like everything is checked, right? Because I want to steal the appearance. I want it to pick up everything and apply everything. Okay, so anyways, you click and then we have that. Do the same right down here. We have that. Okay, we'll change the depth. There we go. There's potentially one poster already, right? Done very quickly, and you can see how it looks. Let's play with this some more. Get it, get it, get it. Oops. I just hit the D key, which will set up the defaults. Yeah, so there that is. Talked about sort of making different versions. Let's take this one, let's shrink it down. In fact, let's move these down. Oops. Turn this on, by the way, this little button when you're moving artboards, it'll move the contents with it. So I kind of want to push it down. Now when I select this one, I could just do a copy and paste. Copy and paste, right? So there those are. So we have our first one, we have our second one that we could start to play with because I wanted to adjust the angle of this second one. Let's move that over, adjust the light, like so, just making it a little bit more interesting, personally. Extrude and bevel, move this one down like that, adjust the light, something like that, and we'll start to link these together or stack them together like so. Extrude and bevel. Let's play with this some more, huh? Open to your thoughts as I play with this a little bit. 250. There we are. Okay, so there's a lot I want to cover. I want to cover animation and 3D for some reason within an hour, starting even with a new concept, as we can see right here with this text, which is just crazy. Why did it looks Python-esque? Interesting. Does this really say visionary though? I don't know. Right? So I think all this text needs to be just like really fun. I like the idea of using depth, sort of something in the past, something sort of in the future, right? Visionary just kind of says, hey, you know, I'm looking to the future, so there has to be some sort of like depth or time warp type of look to this that I could totally see. Okay, and if we want to add more depth to this, we can go to Extrude and Bevel, and actually I'll do this on this last one. It'll be easier to tell. So I'll select this VIS, Extrude and Bevel, we'll go in here and we will change the perspective. So watch when I start changing the perspective, we get these extreme angles, which looks really cool, right? So now we kind of see that, oh, you know what? It was like looking to the, you know, from the past, looking to the future sort of look is what I'm going for here. There we go. Make that a little brighter. I'm really into that. You know, I think we could do that with this text. Let's go ahead and do it with this version, because it could use a little perspective. Right? So it's not so flat and boring, right? Being a visionary doesn't mean flat or boring necessarily. Move that over. Rotate it. Take this, perspective, And oh, I'm so sorry that I've missed some of the comments out there on other platforms like Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Lorianne, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. Diacritics are marks placed above or below letters. That's from Jenna. Thank you, Jenna. I did not know that, and I'll probably forget it. So there we go. Let's give it even some more depth. And let's kind of move some of this stuff around a little bit. How about some bevel? So yes, I could do bevel. I personally like a flat look. This could use a lot of things. So yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't want to give it a bevel. Is that okay? But then I'm like, oh yeah, this is my project. So there is that. Not to be rude, I'm sorry. But yeah, it's kind of tightening that up. Okay, so I actually like this version, and this is, you guys probably do the same thing, right? You'll have that copy, you'll have this new version, right? We'll have this, and we'll play with some depth to this as well. So we'll try this out. Bobby Orlando, great idea though. I love it. I love the idea of maybe adding a bevel. Honestly, you could take this. Let's go back into extrude and bevel, because you could actually turn off. We can make this hollow. So rather than giving a bevel, do we make it like hollow so you can actually see inside? Kind of doesn't work too well there, but yeah, maybe for something else. Actually, you know what? Let's throw something in the background really fast. Let's just show white. Let's grab a circle. Or an ellipse, as it's known. I can do this in, yes, I can. That's where I'm headed with this, buddy. Don't get me wrong. So again, I wanted to cover like all 3D. Yeah, so everything I've done so far can be done in Dimension. So yes, good call. And that's why I wanted to kind of talk about and show kind of the differences between Dimension and Illustrator, and then jump into After Effects. Here's just our one clean line. Let's take this clean line. So you can see it right here. We'll go to 3D Revolve. So that's something Dimension can't do. And I love Dimension, so I don't mean to pick on it. Rotate it around, but we want to actually put something on the inside of this. So let's do this really fast. Boom, 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 shabam, bata, shata. Oh, undo, shabow. Get it, Paul, get it going. Oops. I might already have this in my, oh, I do not have it in my symbols. Anyways, I'm gonna make this really fast. We have this bar that I'm gonna go ahead and drag down and do this a lot of times. Make like a square. Okay, drop it into my symbols panel, right? We'll call this bars, and we're done with that. So take this now, we'll go into 3D Revolve, and let's just map some art to it. So we'll take the, and again, this is gonna be kind of a guessing game, but not so much a guessing game. Let's actually cancel. Let's zoom in on this. Ouch. Guys, I don't know. Okay, so we could start to see it highlight. I'm sorry it's like red on pink, but we can see that it's actually highlighting the inside. So now that I know surface 1 of 3 is the inside, we have the edge, and then we have the outside. So that's how you tell. Then you can grab your bars, a scale to fit, and now we have just like kind of a cool like warping effect, right? So that's kind of fun. Click OK, right? We can add some perspective to this as well. Right, and now we get that sort of deep look. And by the way, let's change this to no shading, right? Done. And then let's actually change the stroke to just white, right? And now we have this sort of weird, and what's cool about this, and I could have made this different ways, but I can start to rotate this around and just get this different look. All by just adjusting this rotation. And I can go into map art. I could even rotate it this way. Let's rotate it this way. Come on, grab it, rotate it. There we are, almost. Right, look at this weird rotating and sort of warping that we get, which is just really cool. Right? So do we do something like that, for instance? And again, just a different version, way to do that. I didn't line it up perfectly and put that sort of behind everything. So send it to the back, put that like there, and there you have your t-shirt design. All right, so let's move on. What are you saying, Alexander? I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. You being sneaky. Alright. Cool. Done. Done. Yeah, I have so many more things that I want to work with. I won't spend much more time on this next one because everybody knows, I mean, Dimension's been out a while, so it'll take 2 seconds, you can get it. You know how all the buttons and switches work. Okay, so boom, boom, shabam, shabba. There we are. Yeah, text, easy. Just kind of compare the two. So now I'm in Dimension, I typed in some text, right? We can see down here all of the different properties for this text. We want to take this and we have depth. So again, this is where we can like really give it some depth. Like so, we'll move this and adjust any way we want. We'll throw some color on it really fast. Again, this text element, that's what I've added. Double click on it, you're gonna get the side, you're gonna get all those different properties. Let's actually just throw on a matte color. Undo this actually. I'm gonna see what happens. Double click on this. I have not added I haven't dropped a color on it. Looks like that changes the whole thing because that's the base color. And yeah. So I can, let's do this. Let's grab this matte material. Let's drop it on the face. There we go. So that's how I'm able to kind of separate out each one of these. Maybe this we want to be this color. Let's change the base color to our blue or our purple. But ultimately that's what I did. I made the face color a different color. And now we have this sort of look. We want to do the same depth. Well, that's going to be your field of view. So that should do it. Let's zoom in on it. There we go. Played with the camera's field of view. So this perspective is about 128. I think I cranked it up to maybe 100 in Illustrator. But now we have this sort of visionary look, right? That I could also stack and do all those fun things with, right? So keep in mind this is still edited. Oh, did I misspell it? Did anybody catch the misspelling? Hello, Lizeth from Colombia. Mohammed. Awesome, from Pakistan. Oh, I'm so glad to see my friends here. I'm so happy to see people from other countries, because it makes things fun. All right, so VIS. Duplicate. Move it over. Duplicate. Alrighty. I usually use the layers to select things. I can select them on the canvas too. But alright, you get the idea. Let's rotate it. Zoop. 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 Undo transform. Okay, we don't want that ground plane on there. And again, I'm trying to rush through this. Is like, I don't know why I'm trying to rush through this so fast. I have the option of a shadow, like a ground plane. Boom, turn that off. Here we are, and kind of move this around. There we go. And you get the idea. All right, cool. EAI design from YouTube. Good to have you here. So is that cool? Can we move on to some more complex stuff? Okay. Hello, Annika. Good to see you here as well. Awesome. So super easy to do. All right. You'd love to see more advanced streams of Dimension. Sure. What you also need to check out is Adobe Substance 3D Stager. Now, it's not included in part of Creative Cloud, but that's the advanced Dimension, and it is awesome. So that's what I want to cover in the future. I'm just waiting to hear back on, you know, if I can do it. And that's what I'm checking right now. Anyways, okay, 3D Stager, that's going to be your advanced version. We could render this out. Last thing I want to point out that I think looks really cool, go to your camera, turn on focus. We'll turn on that focus. We'll set that focus point, so click right there, and it's this little point right there. So I can, ooh, geez, I just moved it. I didn't mean to move the object, but I was moving the focus point right there. So we can click and then make it like right there or wherever. Right, let's actually blur it a little less. Maybe we will adjust the field of view. And again, I'm just adjusting the blur amount. What do you think? Good, bad idea? I'm going to save this, I'm going to render this out, and then while that's rendering out, we're going to do some other things. Visionary, we're going to render this, just say medium to our desktop. Done and done. That was not a very big file either, right? All right, let's play some more things, all right? If we're talking about 3D, right, we did some simple 3D. We can get into more advanced stuff. So I typically like to grab files from Adobe Stock, for instance, right? So we have Adobe Stock. You have 3D out there, right? 3D assets. And I can search 3D lights, models, materials right in here. Of course, I've grabbed a skull, okay? Ooh, this is fun. Undiscovered content. So these are items that have not been downloaded by anyone from Adobe Stock. So that's fascinating. Oh, I'm gonna need some of this stuff for later. So these are colorized. That means you get to like map textures onto, say, this part of the foot, this part of the foot. It's kind of broken out that way. What I'm looking for is lungs. So I'm going to use those lungs. You can see I've actually already licensed this human skeleton. So let's download that. So we could use this. Let me just go to free. Let me just see if I can do this. 3D, let's see what happens. Okay, let's clear this out. There we go. Here's another thing we can try. Ready for this? You want some free stuff? Go to free, just hit enter, right? The only reason we do that is that's gonna serve up we almost give you 1 million assets here for free, but we wanna be able to show just the 3D objects, so 3D, and then we just wanna show the models, so we don't need the lights and materials. And we have about 1,000 items in here that you can then download. So yeah, this human skeleton was free. That's awesome. Because you know I like skulls and flowers. Right? Go through here, sort of download what we want. We can go through all these pages. It's going to take forever. But now you know where and how to find free stuff out there. This is Chill Hop Essentials. Cooper Albert, find a way. That's the name of this smooth jam. All right. Okay, so Alexander prefers to change the focus with Photoshop in the file. Yep. That's cool. Ooh, these are fun. Look at this. Look at this knot shape. Let's license this knot shape. Okay. Take this. Hey, we'll license this one as well. So we'll take that knot shape. We're going to download it. We're going to do something special. We will go back into Illustrator. We will take this text. Anyways, let's just do this. Take this. We are going to go in our library. Save this to miscellaneous. Oh, it's typography section. Let's drop it in our typography subgroup. Call this visionary. Okay, that is done being rendered. By the way, it's not a large file, so I should have clicked on, right up here we can see it's only 1024 by 768. Click on that, change the size, because you're going to want a higher resolution than what you get here, okay? So for these, I'm just going to go ahead and save this camera view. So this is Visionary. Visionary text, whatever. Right, I'm just gonna, I want to use the same file just for speed. Messy downloads folder. Not shape OBJ. Drop it in there. So there we are. So this is currently the base color is this business. Let's go to libraries. Take this, we'll just drop it right on this knot. All right, there it is. It applies it as a graphic, right? But we want to turn that into, it's currently a decal as it's known. So I could take this and start to move this around, which again is pretty cool, right? We want to change this from decal to fill. And now it's filled that entire object. I'm going to shrink it down, right? And there we have sort of the words visionary. Very hard to see, as you can tell. Keep in mind, I applied it on top of this knot material, which I actually should be able to delete. So, because maybe I actually don't like this. So let's get rid of that. Let's change the base color to white. And yeah, I need to get rid of, can I just click delete? Oh yeah. There we go. We're back to our default material. And our base color. So again, just another example of what we can do, showing textures, materials, and decals. Cool. The material files, are they needed? Not if you don't want them, right? There's going to be a base material by default for everything, right? So you don't necessarily need the material. Right there. So that gives this objects the color and the texture and everything, right? So the funny thing is there is that file here. Let me show you something else really fast. So I showed you how to grab here. I got to Turbo Squid. You could do a search on Turbo Squid. This will be a little bit more. I'll do statue, 3D models. We'll change this to free. Okay, we'll grab something that's free, that's cool looking. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Right here. So this guy, so this is what I typically do, is I'll download something that, that's an STL file. That is a material file for 3D printing. Right, so on TurboSquid, you might want to change the formats. Make sure you get an OBJ, because I know I can load in an OBJ. And that's all I would really focus on. Then you grab what you want, download it. I've downloaded another file. Let's, again, we'll just make this fast. This is a case where you have this OBJ, and then you have all these different materials. So this is our David. So a bust, Michelangelo's David. It's just a bust of David. And then there's these different materials for specular highlights, the marble specular highlights, the bronzing. So there's all these cool files. Sometimes for some reason these files might not load in. It's because you might need to change them. It wasn't loading in the TIFF versions, so I had to make JPEG versions of these files. So let's do that really fast. We have that done. Let's save that. Let's go File, New. Oh, I need to get into animating. I'm so sorry. I need to get beyond this 3D stuff. This is a bunch of bull. This is taking too long, right? Luckily, I'll do this pretty quickly. Boom. There's our David bust. It doesn't load up with any of the materials, right? They happen to be there, right? So if we double click, we'll go right in here. Say for the image, we can take this JPEG version and map it on there. And this is sort of what we would get. And this is what I like, right? Michelangelo. And even David being a visionary, being able to see, hey, you know what? I can defeat Goliath, right? Render that out, do all that fun stuff. That's what I've already done with a couple files. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna just jump over and open those up because I rendered those out earlier this week. And just for fun. What a GTLF. GTLB. Okay. Alexander obviously does 3D. I did not catch your earlier comments. So sorry. But you're probably correcting me. You're like, you did it wrong. He does look angry, but you know what? Now he looks cool. Look at him now. How is this done? These are just done with decals, right? Sort of slapping that decal on there. And every time you render out something, you're given these different... And these are two different 3D objects that I've mapped on accordingly. Okay? So there those are. Done pretty easily. Let's open up this David dimension file. Let's take a look. He does look angry, then he looks cool with his cool glasses. But I also have After Effects open. I need to open up that, and I wanted to play with the word visionary. So here we have this. Again, pretty straightforward. Right? It's looking cool. Here's all these like decals. It's like, yeah, sponsored by McDonald's or whatever. But anyways, just playing around, it's okay. Okay. If we take a look, we can see all the fun little decals right up here. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right, let's move on because I wanted to play with After Effects, right? I've spent so much time on 3D. After Effects, I need to do a whole segment on After Effects for designers. Okay? And we started with this original file, again, that I was going to bring into After Effects. Let's take this text. It just has a simple outline. I'm going to give it a color really fast. There we go. We'll take this, copy it. Right? If I go into After Effects, I can't do a copy and paste. Let's do a new file. And this content has to be pretty simple. I'll usually have this set up at the exact same size. So we want to have 1080. Oops. Gotta fix my 1080 px. So you do that for pretty much all Adobe apps, right? Change it by 1350 px. And there you have it. Command 0. Hurry, Paul, hurry. Man. You know, I'm really concentrating when I start getting quiet. Okay, that's good. Man. Save. Down to my last 5 minutes. I'd make something a little bit more fun. Take that, drop it in here. It's gonna say, hey, how do you want to bring it in? As a composition? Footage dimensions, make it the layer size. Click OK. There it is. Double click. There is my text. Command K. That'll bring up the background color. You can change that to white. Click OK. Boom. Here we are. Right? We start to take a look at all this stuff. Puts everything on one layer because that's how it was set up originally. So let's just twirl this down. Right? yeah, so here's basically the content of that layer. Just a flat layer. Doesn't really give me a whole lot to work with, to be honest with you. But what you can do is check this out. Let's try this. Let's take this. We are going to outline it. Save as viz2. Now it's a bunch of paths instead of text. So let's delete that. Drop in the second one. Click OK. Double click. Yeah, still doesn't come in the way I want it to. Let's do this. I'll go to this original comp that I was working on. There it is. Let's use, because this is what I typically use. I don't do a lot of copy and paste. We'll use Overlord. So Overlord allows me to take content, push it directly to After Effects, right? So we'll take this, everything is selected. We can go ahead and push selected content. Bam! All of a sudden we're in After Effects, right? Now everything is as shape layers, right? This is what I want. I didn't see your message. When you try to extrude and bevel in Illustrator, it says RAM is full. I cleared my laptop's temporary files and still says the same. Good question. I guess do you need more RAM? Check the size. I don't know if it will matter, but you could always check the size of your file. So, in this case, notice how this is only, like, just check the size of the vector assets, right? Again, if it's only, 12 inches by 5 inches or whatever, I don't know how complex your 3D object or your object that you're trying to make 3D, I don't know how complex that is. So it might be the complexity of the thing that you're trying to turn into 3D. So, use a simple square and see what happens, okay? So there we are. We have Visionary. We can take a look at each one of these. Take a look at the bottom one. And just as suspected, it's going to come across as different groups. So these are actually individual letters. And each one has a path and a stroke, right? I'm not crazy about the fill either, by the way. I could take that and delete the fills. But everything is separated out. Once everything is separated out, means we can animate all that stuff. So this is actually pretty good. And again, I might not need the fill. I could turn off the fill. Let's start with the V, for instance. Right, and I wanted to do a cool, like, trippy line thing that just, like, you never see the whole word at once, right? Because it's like looking into the future, you see bits of the future, I could imagine, as a visionary, right? So we want to see bits of this world. So right in here, we can take that path, we can, I do this a lot because I think it's cool. Trim paths, right? Trim paths, twirl that down. Let me adjust the start and the end of this path. So see it right there? It's like zoop, zoop. Right? So this is awesome. This is really cool. So this starts to change things. This is just so cool. I'm changing the start and end of the line, right? So we can add some keyframes for start and end. I'll take these keyframes, I'll move them down. This is only a second long, by the way. And then I'll take this I'll roll this back to the beginning. Now we can see it's going to animate on. Right, so this provides some amazing potential for animation, which I'm just going to have to cover next week. And I apologize for everybody who's waiting for animation. But what we're going to do is we're going to focus on animation for designers tomorrow. But you can see the potential of just trim paths alone. So, cool. Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out. We got a Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, a day full of master classes. Join me later as we go dive into Photoshop. I got a cool project. I can't wait for it. So, thanks so much for watching, guys. Appreciate you guys. Stay humble And appreciate you all. We'll see you all in 90 minutes. Thanks so much.